You asked for a book about rock from me, and now you've got one. Cause Effect Metallica is a look at the album Metallica, commonly referred to as the Black Album, by me, heavy metal critic and co-host of the Classic Metal Show, Chris Aiken. In this book, I remember back to the lead-up and the eventual release of Metallica, including stories of how the release affected me as a person, the line in the sand it drew between old-school and new-school Metallica fans, and how the release single-handedly changed the way commercial rock radio stations were programmed. This is my second book, and I'm proud to have it out there, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It is Cause and Effect Metallica, available now on Amazon.com. Go to Amazon.com. Or my personal website, probably the easiest way to get it, chrisaikenbooks.com. Get to it, jerkies.
Well, during the I Hate God interview,
yeah,
we were just kind of shooting the shit a little bit and talking about various things. And strangely enough, we got into a conversation about people who are smokers.
Yes, we did.
And this really doesn't have anything to do with anything in general. But it's an interesting conversation.
Okay.
People who smoke cigarettes, that's their prerogative. Whatever they want to do, go ahead and do it.
Uh-huh.
But when they start suffering health consequences due to their choice,
okay,
then it becomes a problem, especially if it infringes on you.
Go further, because
all right. Well, if they become sick due to it, or they suffer side effects due to it, or it affects you negatively because of their choices,
okay,
then it becomes a problem.
A problem for who?
For you, or it just becomes a problem in general.
Okay.
Especially if you're. Oh, well, I'm going to just make a general statement about here.
Sure.
If you're, say, driving them in your personal vehicle, and they ask you if it's okay if they can fire up a smoke in your car.
Okay.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
All right. Or, and I'm going to tell a personal story here in a minute.
All right.
But, people who do things that affect other people, everybody's got their own personal choices in life.
Sure.
But when it affects other people, then it becomes a problem.
Right. Okay.
A few months ago, my sister invited me out to join her and her significant other and a couple of their friends.
Okay.
Out for evening of just, say, drinks and
debauchery,
some food.
Right.
Well, one of their friends in a couple situation, she's one of these gals that everybody's into these e-cigarettes these days.
Yeah, sure.
These electronic cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
And for some people, it becomes as big as a crutch as just smoking a pack of cigarettes.
Oh, it sure is.
Well, this gal, nice enough gal, I've got nothing bad to say about her. I don't even know her that well. Attractive, very attractive girl.
So you fucked her?
No.
No. Okay.
But we were sitting at the dinner table.
Not yet?
Stop it. But we were sitting there at the dinner table, and she was handling this electronic cigarette as if her life depended on it.
Okay.
Well, for just a brief second,
yeah,
she set it on the table.
Okay.
And she was looking through her purse for something.
All right.
And when she wasn't looking,
yeah,
I reached over and snatched it away.
Oh, no.
And hid it. And she didn't say anything to anybody at the table or whatever, but she's like looking around, and you could see her becoming frantic.
Was she dive bombing under the table?
Well, she was looking under the table. She was digging through her purse. She was checking her pockets.
Right.
She literally was having a freak attack.
That's awesome.
Having a freak attack.
Nice.
Now, her significant other.
Yeah.
He's my age.
Okay.
And he was very intrigued at the fact that I'm involved with the Classic Metal Show.
Okay.
And some of the people that I've met along the way or have become friends with, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Well, she was just starting to get panicky.
Okay.
And he was looking at me because he knew I took her electronic cigarette.
Right.
And he just started, because she started getting to the point to where she looked like she was going to just about have a cow at any second, you know?
Right.
And he was like, dude, I think it's time. I think it's time. I think it's time. And I'm like looking at him like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
And he's like, no, serious, dude. You really need to.
Oh, my God.
You know, because she was going to just about have a shit fit at the table.
Why did he worry about
Because
it?
it was going to blow back on him.
Why? If you didn't do it?
Come on, dude. Are you telling me after 23 years of marriage that if something goes bad in an event, it isn't going to be
true.
it isn't going to be your fault somehow?
That's true. I've forgotten how bad marriage is. Go ahead.
So when she wasn't looking, when she was like digging through her purse frantically because she
Right.
thought she stuck it in there,
Uh-huh.
I put it on the table and put a napkin over top of it.
Oh, nice.
And she's like, then it came out. She verbalized, "Where the fuck is my cigarette?" And her significant other, he goes, "Did you look on the table?" I looked everywhere. I can't find it. And he pulled the napkin up, and there it was.
Nice.
But she was having a shit fit
Right.
over this thing.
Sure missed those days.
So my point in all this is the connection or the obsession
Sure.
people have with certain things that they can't function like normal people.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
Now, I know that you had a little bit of a, similar situation recently with some friends of yours.
Yeah. I've had several. I'll go with I'll go with the easy target, which will be my friend Kelly that I've been kind of hanging with lately. She just quit smoking not too long ago. Basically, she had surgery, and when she had the surgery, that was also when she quit smoking. And now she's on the e-cigs. And I'll tell you what cracks me up. I don't know if you know anything about how these fucking things work.
Yeah, well, they've got different levels of nicotine in
Right.
them, and Don, our good friend Don Dawkins smokes one.
Does he?
Yeah, dude. When we were with him, back.
Oh, yeah, he was with the
had
different
that.
flavors.
Yeah, the different flavors.
That's right. I forgot
And
about
they've
that.
got different levels of nicotine in them, and
Yeah.
the whole idea is you're supposed to start at a certain level, and you're supposed to taper off to where you're not
Yeah.
smoking any nicotine at all, to where you just want to just stop doing it altogether.
Exactly. Well, the thing I've noticed, because I'm kicking it with this girl Kelly that smokes these e-cigs a lot, and it cracks me up when the battery life starts wearing out in the e-cig.
Sure.
They start flashing.
Right,
on the
right,
end,
right.
And they're not like, they don't look like regular cigarettes. They're like green or some color like that.
Sure.
So I'll watch, and she'll be fucking trying really hard to get something off this thing, and this thing will be fucking flashing, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? But man, when she's ready to hit that thing, she's like, "Fred, it's fucking dead." She's like freaking the fuck out. She's like, "I gotta get this fucking battery out. I gotta go." And dude, they make these things with USB chargers.
Yeah, I
and
know.
shit.
You got to charge them. You got to put them on and charge them up.
Yeah,
and
so she's running out to the computer to fucking plug her cigarette into the computer and shit. I'm like, what are you fucking doing?
that's got to be a bitch and a half to be a slave to something like that.
Oh man, I'll stick to being a slave to the beer.
Right. Now you related a personal story to me that and I know you may have brought this up on the show before.
Yeah.
But after your divorce or your breakup, that you were trying to kind of maybe numb some of your pain a little bit with some weed, and it just didn't do it for you.
Yeah,
It's like,
I've smoked pot. When I was a kid, especially, I smoked a lot of pot. Man, that was my thing, man. I really didn't drink that much in high school, but man, did I love to smoke pot. And I sold pot, so it was cool because, from the time I was 14, 15 years old, I'd get my dick sucked for fucking pot. And that's the God's honest truth. Was, I would have a bunch of pot, and I would, there was 3 or 4 different chicks that lived down my street, and they all liked the pot, and I'd go up to them and I'd be like, "Hey, this is $25," knowing that they didn't have $25, yeah, but you can take me in the woods and suck my dick, and I'll just give you the fucking pot.
Dude, how funny would it be if you said, I'm not going to let you suck my dick for pot. You're not going to respect me after. I mean, guys would never go down that road.
Fuck no.
They don't care.
Fuck no. I was happy to give them their pot.
Of
if they
course,
sucked my
but the thing is, no, I'm not going to do that because you're not going to respect me later.
Yeah, whatever. Dude, and the best part about it was, you know, I'd take them in the woods, I'd get my dick sucked, then we'd go back into their house and smoke the pot together.
Right.
They would fucking share the pot with me.
Yeah, sure. So the pot that they sucked your dick for, they'd share it with you.
Yeah, and basically, so I was giving them half of what I was offering them.
It was almost like taking communion. It's just like,
really
I break this bread for you.
Right.
As a part of me while I sucked your dick for you.
Yeah. This sperm is the body of Chris.
Wow.
Yeah, I definitely used to trade a lot, but I used to smoke a lot.
Right.
And after I broke up with my ex, you know, I had gone a really long time, like 25 years without smoking pot.
Sure.
I mean, it was last time I smoked pot, I got busted for it in the military.
Right.
You know, because they used to sell it in the drugstores in Korea. You know, you could buy these little things of pot.
Right.
And I used to, you know, we were supposed to, they told us the day we got to Korea, don't go in the drugstores. They're off limits. So you know where the fuck I was going.
Right, of course.
Right to the fucking drugstores.
Wasn't there a law against that?
What?
Keep you from doing that?
Well, of course.
Wasn't there a law?
I guess. Yeah, but I didn't follow it.
That's my point.
You know, who gives a shit?
Sure.
But, yeah, I got busted for, I came up really fucking unbelievably hot on a fucking piss test. And I at that point I quit and I stopped for 25 years.
Right.
But then after the ex left, then I was like, fuck it. Had a party here at the house and somebody broke out some weed and I smoked it like nobody's fucking business. And I got high, I don't know, 4 or 5 times maybe. I got high twice here on the show.
Sure.
You know, once with Kurt.
Okay.
Kurt comes to the show. And he has this thing, and it looks like a deck of cards.
All right.
With a straw in it.
Okay.
And you hold this thing, and it starts like buzzing. And then after it buzzes for like 30 seconds or whatever, you put the straw in your mouth, and you get just this really intense fucking hit.
Okay.
Like a bong hit.
Okay.
And then, it's really intense, and we were smoking that, and that's... You heard that show where Kurt actually thought that the real Jeff Tate was Jeff Tate.
Sure. Right.
Because he was so fucking stoned.
Right, and he was referring to him as Mr. Tate.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Right. So there was that time, and then the other time was with Rock and Randy.
Right.
And you remember that.
Oh,
Boy,
yeah.
Was that an abortion?
Yeah, I could tell that he was really...
He was baked by 11 o'clock.
Easily.
He was tore the fuck up. But, yeah, so I've smoked it like 5 times now, and, I don't know, man. It's not the same anymore.
Sure.
Maybe it's because I don't have anybody to trade for blowjobs. I don't know, but I don't have that same love for it anymore.
Suck this dick, this do in remembrance of me.
Yeah, come on.
Right.
Come on, no seeds.
Right. Terrible.
You take my seed, I'll take my own seeds with me.
Right. God damn. That just goes to show you that you know, as long as the price is right, chicks will do certain things.
All right, what's the worst thing that you've ever done to get a chick to either fuck you or blow you?
You know what? I've never been a scam artist.
Never?
No, I've never been a scam artist where chicks were concerned.
You've never 2 in the morning?
No.
Not one time?
I'm not a drinker, dude. You know me.
Doesn't matter. You've never gone and found one at 2 in the morning?
No.
Never?
No.
Dude,
let me tell you my philosophy here.
All right.
Let me tell you a story.
All right.
Back in you got to remember that, you know, I'm a few years older than. How old are you?
45.
Okay, so I'm 5 years older than you.
Right.
All right. So I got 5 years on you.
Okay.
I lived in California from 85 to 91.
Okay.
All right. Back in the early 80s,
Yeah.
was when the first time you ever heard of the word AIDS.
Right, sure.
Okay, that was the first time.
Right.
California? Are you kidding me? Drugs and AIDS? That was like the hot topic.
Oh, so nobody was fucking at that
Well,
time?
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that was like, oof, I'm not really sure that I want to you know.
There was no random puss.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
All right.
Well, there was this girl.
Yeah.
She was smoking hot.
Right.
I mean, she was built and pretty and just a smoking little chick.
Okay.
Her name was April.
All right.
Okay. And she was the daughter of a prominent business person in town.
Yeah.
For some reason, she used to come into the club that I worked at.
Okay.
And she got to, she knew the owners of the club, which kind of were like my pseudo parents.
Sure.
And she would always tell my adoptive mom, I just love your son. Okay. I just love your son. He is just like this. He's just like that.
Right.
This girl, I mean, just killer body.
Right.
Nice rack, nice ass, just shapely, just gorgeous, pretty.
Right.
Who could I compare her to, just to kind of give you a visual? She was kind of like, I'm going to say a younger version of, what was that? What's that gal's name? That exercise gal from
Denise Austin?
No.
Richard Simmons?
No. She was in no, dude. Come on. She was in what was it? Bedazzle or what is that?
Exercise girl.
Yeah. She kind of made her.
Jillian Michaels?
No, 80s.
Oh, I don't know.
She. God damn it! I can't think of her. She's a popular actress. She's older now. I mean, she's like 70.
Betty White?
No, just
Mae West.
No, no, not that far back. What the hell's her name? She was in Grumpy Old Men.
Grumpy
not
Old Men.
She dated Elvis. She was like.
She dated Elvis. Come on, dude.
What was her name?
Priscilla?
No.
Chicks that dated Elvis. Personal relationships from Elvis Presley.
Right.
All right, let's see. The women of his life. Holy shit.
No,
Anne Helm?
No. No, she's somebody you would know the name if I came up with it.
Judy Spreckles?
No. Come on.
I'm reading Priscilla?
No.
Linda Thompson?
No.
Ginger Alden?
No. She was in she was in what was it?
Give me a movie name and I'll find it that way.
It's like is it not Bedazzled or what was her name? God damn it.
Bedazzled is a movie. Elizabeth Hurley?
No.
From the 2000 movie or the 67 version?
The 67 version.
All right, let's go back to that. 67, Bedazzled. All right, whoever that is hot as fuck. See full cast and crew. Eleanor Braun?
No.
Raquel Welch?
Raquel Welch.
All right,
she was like Raquel Welch.
All right.
That's what she looked like.
Jesus, we went a long way to get to that.
That's who she reminded me of.
Okay.
Just killer figure, pretty face,
right.
Gorgeous body, the whole thing.
Right.
So I was at the club one night.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And me and the guy who I shared DJ duties with.
Okay.
He was the full-time DJ. Whenever he took the night off or whatever, I'd take his place.
Right.
So we're kind of standing outside the club before the club officially opened.
Okay.
This girl, this April.
Yeah.
She pulls up in a car.
Okay.
Gets out of the car, looking hot as hell.
All right.
Walks up to me. She says, I got a room over at the Green Tree Inn, which was a...
I remember the Green Trees.
And she says, and her father owned the Green Tree.
Okay.
Okay. She says, I got a room over at the Green Tree.
All right.
She says, I'm having a party over there.
All right.
She says, about midnight,
yeah,
I'm kicking everybody out.
Right.
And I'm coming back here to get you.
All right.
I got to tell you, dude, I was just like, ooh, Oh my God. Because number one.
Wait a minute. So you didn't do this?
No. Mind you, this was 1980, 88, 89. And she was kind of had a reputation of being, into the drugs and into the sex and into this. It's like, man, this girl could be all cruded up for all I know.
She would have had a hard time walking still.
But see, that is the reason why, because of that fear of what am I going to get into here?
See, I never had that fear.
I did. It's just like, I would love to, but the risk is just way too high.
See, for me, it was all about Korea. It was where I did most of my crazy fucking running.
Sure.
And I never once thought about it.
See, I did.
Never thought about it.
But that's the whole thing, is I wasn't into the whole drugs or alcohol or, got drunk or, just thought, oh, yeah, what the hell? What, just throw caution to the wind.
Dude. I was the guy that would throw the parties and just fucking put my dick into a half-passed out chick during the party. She'd be laying on a bed halfway.
But you see, you know what a big Dokken fan I am, right?
Yeah, sure.
And that was about the same time that Back for the Attack came out and Kiss of Death came out.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh no, I don't think I'm going to go down that road.
Right. I honestly don't think I've ever turned down any ass.
Oof, I have.
I don't think I've ever done that.
I have.
Never. If it's ever gotten to a point where a girl's like, all right, let's fucking fuck, I'm all in.
See, that's the difference between you and me, because I have.
Ugh,
I've had quite a few offers that I've actually passed on just because it was just the risk was way too high.
Yeah,
it's like I can't do that. No way.
I honestly don't think I ever have. I'm thinking about it right now, and I really don't. I can't think of other than now. There is one that was really, really, really drunk, and I just was like, "Man, I'm gonna wake up to a fucking policeman." I was like, "Yeah, I'll pass on this."
Sure.
That now I'm thinking about it. That's the only time though. No way.
Right. Dude, but just see, I've always had presence of mind because I never got drunk or just thought, I'm just going to whatever,
And you don't look back at it and be, man, I should have just fucking rolled?
No, because I don't know. I don't know if that was, was going to affect me or whatever, because it was a bad scene then.
Right. I don't know. I just loved all that shit. That was fun for me.
Well, it wasn't that I didn't think about it and think, man, I'd like to tap that, but it was just like, oof, I don't know, man. When you weigh the risk factor,
right?
Don't think so.
I don't know. I was always all for the risk. Bring it on, bring it on, man. So you never did anything fucking
just to get puss,
just to get laid,
no,
on a stray night or something.
No,
just wanted.
I've never had a one night stand.
Have you ever gone out with the sole
for the sole reason to get some?
Yeah,
no. Absolutely.
You've never done that. Oh, my God.
And I'll tell you the reason why.
Yeah.
Because I had enough presence of mind to know that this would come back and bite me. And I'm going to tell a story.
All right,
Here's another good story for you.
Go ahead.
And while I'm here this week, or tomorrow or whatever, you and I are going to discuss, how we're going to lay out my book.
Okay.
All right. So here's a good story for you.
Yeah.
This bartender that worked at the club that I worked at.
Right.
He'd been working this girl all night long.
Okay.
All right. Nice looking gal.
Sure.
Okay. So it's like 10 minutes before the club closes.
Okay.
Comes up to me. He says, "Hey man," he says, "I've been working on this chick all night long."
Right.
He says, I want her to go back to my place with me.
Okay.
But she's got a friend.
All right.
And I need you to distract her friend.
Right.
He says, are you in with me?
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, well, what do you got in mind? He says, well, let's just go down to they had like a 24-hour coffee shop down the road.
Okay.
So let's just go down there. Let's take them to breakfast, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Right.
All right. I said, all right, I'm in.
Okay.
Whatever. So I meet this chick's friend.
All right.
Nice enough looking gal.
Okay.
Redhead. Not
like
into gingers.
You're not? Oh,
no.
Dude.
See, I'm not.
Dude.
I'm not. but she was still an attractive gal.
Right.
Okay. I thought she was attractive. She was wearing like a tight suede skirt.
Okay.
Heels. Nice looking gal.
Right.
Okay. So I thought, all right, I'm going to go with this guy.
All right.
We're going to go do this thing.
Sure.
So we go down to this coffee shop and we get into one of those horseshoe booths.
Okay.
Okay. So this girl is sitting next to me, and the other girl sitting next to the bartender, and we're just sitting there shooting the shit and carrying on and making lots of jokes and stuff.
Right.
So I look under the table, and this girl sitting next.
Jesus Christ, Stephen.
So this girl next to me, she's sitting there.
Yeah.
Her skirt riding up the thighs of her legs.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, because she's acting all flirty and everything.
Sure. Okay.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to test the boundaries here.
Right.
I'm going to see how far I can get with this girl and see where she draws the line, as it were.
Okay.
So while we're sitting there having breakfast and enjoying ourselves, and
Yeah.
just kind of talking and shooting the shit.
Right.
So I put my hand on this girl's knee.
Okay.
Okay. So while we're sitting there talking, I keep sliding my hand up and up and up and up along her thigh,
All right.
up under her skirt.
All right.
She doesn't even stop me.
Well, no. She wanted to fuck.
Well, I'm just telling you the story.
All right.
So I'm thinking, okay, this chick, she's all right. She's ready to go. She's primed, greased. She's ready to go.
Right. Okay.
And I'm just like, I'm not really into this girl. I mean, she really doesn't do anything for me. All right.
All right.
I mean, it wasn't that she was ugly or anything. I just wasn't really all that attracted to her.
Okay.
But again, this is because I'm not a drinker. I don't get into the drugs, and I'm not influenced by that.
That the next 100 guys in a row would have fucked her.
Of course they would.
Man.
But that's the thing. I had the choice and the opportunity to do it, and I had the choice to turn it down if I wanted to.
Dude, I always had the hardest time turning in. I never did.
Right.
It was always, dude. Here's a not so good story, but I'll just tell it anyway. So right before I got married, I guess it was, the ex was still in Korea and I was in Arizona, and there was this one chick that had was like just totally crushing on me.
Okay.
And so we were all at a party together. We were just having, one of these parties, and this chick came up, and she was like, me and her were drinking heavily. Now, I was like scheduled to get married like 2 weeks later. So this was like right before we got married. And we're at this party, and we're drinking and we're partying, and she transitioned from happy drunk to drunk.
Okay.
And I was pretty close to that myself.
Sure.
Like, I was like really bobbing and weaving and whatnot.
Sure.
And at some point, she was like laying on the fucking couch.
Okay.
And almost passed out.
Right.
So I got down on like in front of the couch.
Sure.
I'm on my knees, like I don't know what you call it, like laying there, kind of
right.
side. And I'm like talking to her or whatnot. And next thing I know, we're making out.
Sure.
And so then I just did what I always do. My hands fucking ended up in her shirt.
Right.
And I'm like fucking going for it. Now, meanwhile, I knew I didn't really want to bang her or nothing. But I was like, fuck, this is right here. And the worst part, then it got so bad that I was like, all right, I'm going to take her in the bathroom and fuck her. And literally, I picked her up.
Right.
I stood up wobbling.
Sure.
I picked her up and I put her on my shoulder. And I started making my way toward the bathroom with this chick. And fucking my friends actually stopped me. Like, what are you fucking doing? You're getting married.
Nice.
And they fucking stopped me.
Sure.
But, dude, I always had that fucking thing.
Right.
I always wanted to get new.
Well, it isn't that I didn't want to.
Yeah.
It's just the ramifications afterwards that I was always concerned about. And there's more to the story that I was telling.
Okay.
So so obviously this girl did not stop me. Okay. So it just got to the end of the point where we had breakfast and whatever. And
Right.
and so I was just like, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning at this point. And I'm just like, all right, I'm heading home and whatever. And this chick is like, hey, wait a minute. Don't you have a number? Can I call you?
Right.
This kind of stuff. So, I gave her my number.
Okay.
All right. And I didn't normally do that. But
Right.
I was just like, all right, here's my number.
Right.
So we leave. I go home, crash out. And like about noon or 1, somewhere around there, the next day, she's calling me.
All right.
And she's like, "Hey, dude, I'm like down the street here." She was going to some like beauty school or something like that.
Okay.
She's like, "My class gets out at like 1."
Right.
She says, "What are you doing?" And I'm just like, "Oh, nothing, just kind of hanging out." She goes, "Oh, you want me to come over?"
Right.
And I'm thinking, okay, I guess. All right, come on over.
Right.
So about 1 o'clock, she rolls up, comes to the house. And it's the middle of the summer. It's
Right.
like, I don't know, it's like June or July, hotter than hell outside. So
Okay.
she's kind of like wearing the summer, like a summer dress or something.
Okay.
So she comes to the house, sits on the couch. I'm on this love seat
Right.
across from her, and we're just kind of shooting the shit.
Okay.
Again, I don't know this girl from Adam. I just met her the night before.
Right. Sure.
Don't really have that much in common with her.
Right.
So she's sitting there talking, and we're just shooting the shit. And she's just like, you're kind of sitting far away over there, aren't you? And I'm just like, I'm comfortable over here. So she gets up off the couch and comes over to the love seat, sits on the couch or love seat next to me, right?
Right.
So before I know it, we're making out.
Okay.
All right. So again, pushing the boundaries. Okay, what's this chick up to? So I start putting my hand up her skirt.
Right.
No panties.
All right.
Got my hand right in the puss.
And you didn't bang her.
Well, listen to me.
I'm listening, but I'm getting stunned here.
But this was more like an experiment for me, less than like I just want to fuck you and get it over with.
Right.
And I was just like, okay, all right, I got my hand in her puss.
Right.
All right, my hands are all wet and sticky.
Okay.
She's obviously good to go.
Right.
So she's like, can I use your bathroom real quick?
Okay.
I'm just like, all right, fine. So she goes into the bathroom.
Yeah.
And she comes back out, and she sits back on the couch, and she's trying to get all lovey-dovey. And she goes, why don't we just move into your bedroom?
Okay.
And I'm just like, I don't know,
man.
Dude, listen to my logic here.
The logic is flawed. The fact that you didn't bang her, the logic is flawed.
It's not flawed.
It is flawed.
It's not flawed. Because, again, it's what happens after this.
What has to happen? Before cell phones.
But you're saying...
Does she even have your phone number?
But she knew where I lived.
So what?
She knew where whatever.
It's a restraining order away from not having to bother.
Well, here you go. Why go through the hassle of having to do the whole restraining order thing?
You were 20 years old and you really
I was
weren't
20.
chasing.
I was 20.
You were in your 20s.
25,
You were in your
26.
20s.
Yeah.
And you had opportunities to chase puss, and you just weren't doing it.
Dude, chicks are just crazy.
Well, no shit. What makes them any less crazy now?
They're not, which is why I don't do that kind of shit.
But here's where I'm gonna call you out on this, because I just can't even. I'm not calling you out, I guess, but I can't even wrap my head around this.
Okay.
Because I'm going to go the other way.
All right.
You get into relationship after relationship after relationship that goes for 2 years and goes fucking bonkers.
Right.
So what difference does it make? So basically, under your theory, anytime you fuck a chick, you're going to fucking deal with crazy.
Exactly.
So why not fuck the chicks?
That there's some logic to that, yes. But let me get back to this.
All right.
I wasn't into this chick.
Okay.
All right. I wasn't into her. I mean,
right.
she didn't really do anything for me.
Right.
All right. I wasn't like, wow, I find you interesting, or you really got that thing that I really like about you or anything. I wasn't into her at all.
Jesus, dude.
Okay. Now, wait a minute.
Your fingers were into her?
I did, but that was only just to see how far I could get. Just for the hell of it.
All right, but no one fingers an ugly chick.
True, and I didn't say she was ugly. I just wasn't into it. All right.
I just can't. Dude, that's kind of like doing a crossword puzzle. You're in the same fucking logic.
Well, but
it's not really that interesting, but I'm going to fucking fill it out anyway.
But there's more to the story.
All right, go ahead.
So even after all this,
yeah,
she was like a hooked puppy.
All right.
She would like show up at the club, and she would want to hang out, and she'd be calling my phone, and it's just like, oh, dude, I don't want, I'm not into you.
All right.
But I was afraid that if I went that, and mind you, I was 25 years old.
Right.
It's just like, I don't want this. I don't want some crazy ass nut that I'm not into, that I just banged for the hell of banging.
Yeah.
Now thinking that I've got something for her, and that, and even because I didn't bang her, she still was coming to the club and, looking for me and calling me on the phone and wanting all this other stuff. It took me like probably close to 2 months to finally get her to go away.
But you know what? That's every chick. So
but I don't want to deal with that.
All right, so I'm gonna go back to an old story that I told on the show. Remember the story about the girl that I took shooting, and then how she, I banged it, or she sucked my cock.
Right.
And then she fucking.
Then you wrote her a nasty thing and say that was a high price for head.
Yeah, right.
Right. Exactly.
You could not go through that?
No, I don't want to deal with that.
But she was gone in record time.
Yeah, but you still had to deal with it, though.
No, but not for long, because she felt bad that she got used, and then she went away.
All right. Okay. Without naming names.
Yeah.
Okay. You're well aware of a situation that came because of the Classic Metal Show.
Okay.
That just got really wacky.
Oh, yeah. Sure. I know of two.
That's my point. That is something I don't want to repeat again.
Well, yeah. But here's my counter to that. Both of those situations happened without banging them.
That's true.
So there you go. You might as well have banged them. It wouldn't have been any different. It would have been no different. You might as well. Here's what you're missing. You can't be nice to them. You cannot be nice to girls and think that it's just going to fucking fade away when you're done.
Right.
That's never going to happen.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you fuck them or not.
Sure.
So the pussy's there, fuck it.
Might as well fuck it, because it's going to cause you trouble anyway.
Yeah, no matter what. No matter what. Dude, I've had a lot of friends. You know what? I have always been that guy that is friends with the girls.
Right.
I'm that guy. I always, I have my guy friends, but I have a bunch of girlfriends. What does it say?
Like a demon. If you don't want to deal with them, don't use their vagina as a hand puppet.
Nice.
I'll give her that.
That's funny.
I'll give her that. A hand puppet.
Dude, I just don't. Anytime it's been offered to me, I'm going there. You know what, dude? Look. There was a time, and this is another fucking ridiculously poor story for me. When I was it's Korea. I was in Korea, and we used to have to do what was called fire guard.
Okay.
And what that was you would work your normal day, and then you would turn around and you had to kind of sit in our barracks and kind of patrol the barracks.
Sure.
You'd stay up all night.
Isn't that called fire watch or something?
Yeah, we called it fire guard.
Okay.
But that was what we did, was we'd pull fire guard overnight. Sure. And then the next day you were off work.
All right.
You would get a day off. You would do a 24-hour shift, basically, and then you were off work.
Sure.
So one day I had pulled fire guard, so I was off, and about noon or so, the mail room opened.
All right.
I used to lift weights with the girl that ran the mail room. She was she was an in shape chick. Oh my God, was she in shape? But she ran the mailroom. So one afternoon, I was just that afternoon. What?
Look at that.
Hello from Vagina Land. That's hilarious.
Right. Go ahead.
No. So one day, I was standing there by the mailroom, and I was just talking to this girl, and there was nobody else really around, and this other girl, Vicky, came over, and I was wearing a pair of like Hawaiian pants.
Okay.
Like big, longer Hawaiian
Yeah.
pants,
kind of like
shorts.
they call them jams.
Yeah, jams.
Right.
And this one girl, Vicky, came up while I was talking to the other chick, and she came up and she's like, rubbing her hands on my back or whatever. And this is when I was in like really ripped up shape. So
Sure.
I mean, I was fucking ripped.
Right.
And she's like rubbing all over me, and we're just standing there. And at some point, she slides her hand into my fucking pocket and starts rubbing my dick.
Nice.
And I was like, all right. And you know, she started talking shit. You know, she literally was like, you're not going to do anything about it. You're not going to do anything about it. Meanwhile, my dick's getting all hard. And I'm like, yes, I will. And, you know, and I looked at this girl, Vicky, and I was like, I looked at her and I was like, don't even fucking go there unless you want to get fucked.
Right.
And she's like, you ain't going to do nothing about it. And I was like, come with me then. And I literally took her into my room and just banged her on the spot.
Right.
And I mean, I didn't really have nothing going on with this chick.
Sure.
You know, truthfully, this was the first black chick I ever banged.
Right.
Because I really didn't have a relationship with her.
Sure.
She just was horny.
Right.
And I didn't even think twice about it.
Sure.
I was like, all right, you want to be a tease? All right. I'm going to tease your fucking teeth into my pillow.
Nice.
You know, dude, I have a lot of those fucking stories.
Right.
I can't even fathom thinking the way you do.
Right. Well, but the thing is that you have always been influenced by alcohol or drugs or something.
Sure.
That's never been a part of my life.
Yeah, but it doesn't always have to be alcohol.
Oh, I'm not saying it always has to be, but the thing is I've never been influenced by drugs or alcohol.
God damn.
And that's the difference.
Right. Oh, man. That's fucking hilarious. You know what? I'm going to give Tom the phone number. I'm not going to tell the phone number. I'm just going to give it to Tom because he's screaming that he wants to call in and tell you something.
Oh, really? Nice. Now, granted, I've had a lot of very good opportunities with a lot of nice-looking chicks over my years.
Yeah, well.
But just because of the crazy.
Yeah.
That's the part that always drives me away from, I don't think so. You know, the crazy.
But it's crazy even if you're not.
But I don't.
It's no less crazy. That's my point.
But my point is that as I got older, I learned how to not get so involved. You know, or not elicit.
I don't know that I agree with that.
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? Let's talk about the one that you go back and forth with now.
Yeah, that is nutty.
That's as nutty as it gets. To talk about involved. How
Sure.
can you say that's not getting involved?
Sure.
Wow.
Well, yeah, but that's not stalkerish involved though.
No, it's not stalkerish involved.
That's the kind of involved I'm talking about, is the stalkerish type.
But I'm going to assume you banged that one.
Of course.
And that's the one you're not worried about.
Right.
The ones you didn't bang are the ones that you're fucking worried about.
That's because they got that certain something that they're waiting for you out in the parking lot of a shopping mall somewhere.
They all do. They all do. There's not a single one of them that doesn't.
Yeah.
There's not a single girl on this planet. Sorry, ladies, you're not going to like hearing this. But there's not a single lady on this planet that will not fucking lose their goddamn mind over something you do.
Right.
There's not a single one.
Sure.
There's just not.
Right.
So, bang them.
Just bang them.
Just bang them.
You're gonna cause me a problem anyway, so I'm just gonna bang you anyhow.
Why not?
Sure.
Why not just tell them that?
Yeah.
Why can't you just say, you know what, I'm really not that into you, but I would fuck you? Why not say that?
I guess that would be a very direct approach.
Yeah, if they're offering it, you just tell them the truth.
It's
you know
like,
what?
listen, I'm not into you. I'm not into any relationship. I'll bang you, but just after that, just leave me alone.
You've never one time just told a chick, look, this is just for the fucking fun of it.
No.
Never.
No.
Dude.
No.
How does that even happen?
Again, it's because it's being sober about it.
I guess. I don't know where Tom is, but I got the phone thing up.
Sure.
But I don't know, man. Hey, you want to take some calls?
Sure.
Since Tom's not calling.
Right.
It's for anybody that wants to call in, write it down now. I'm giving you time to get your pen and your paper.
Right.
It's 216-220-0601. 216-220-0601 is the phone number.
All right.
Let's see if anybody wants to call in.
Sure.
And if not, I'll just keep pounding on you.
That's okay. I got answers for everything you say. I'm just telling you from my personal experience what I've dealt with.
And by answers, you mean the wrong answers.
Well, regardless of how you view them or not, that's just my answers. You know?
I just find it funny that you, even in your youngest days, did not have the spontaneity, fuck it, let's do it.
Because of the threat of, the AIDS thing.
Not even at 15 or anything?
Oh, dude, that wasn't even an option then.
Getting laid?
No.
What the fuck changed between the 5 years between us?
Well, you were brought up in a different environment than me.
Yeah, that's true.
So that has a lot to do with it.
Because, I mean, there was always chicks. There were always chicks.
Sure. Well, again, it just depends on your upbringing and your background and so on and so forth. But, when you're brought up in a very fundamentalist religious household, that's just not something that is a common factor.
Right.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know, man. It seems odd to me.
I mean, I wasn't peddling pot at 15 years old like you.
Oh, yeah, that is
true.
true.
that wasn't happening in my world.
That is true, but I don't know. I mean, I guess one equates to the other. And as far as I was definitely the risk taker. I definitely wouldn't say that I was selling pot only to get laid. Because the truth is I was selling pot to get money.
Well, regardless of why you were doing it, you were still doing it.
Well, I know, but that was always me. It still is the risk guy.
Sure.
The guy that'll fucking roll the dice and take the risk, and whatever happens, happens.
See, how many times have you been in trouble with the law in your life, even from a teenager?
Oh, wow. Shit. 10, 15?
See, I've never been in trouble with the law, ever.
I've...
Not even once.
Well, let's think about it. I got arrested 6 times in Korea.
See?
And I got arrested at the Nickel Beer Night. I told that story, I think, on the air.
Sure.
On New Year's Eve of 80 or Christmas Eve of 87. And I got arrested in my junior year, I guess it would have been, for riding motorcycles without a license and on streets and, doing that kind of stuff.
So, see, that's the difference. I've never been in trouble with the law, ever. Yeah. Never been arrested, never been taken to jail, never,
I have 9 arrests.
Okay.
That's my number. No, 10. Because of the guy down the street where I went down and kicked his dog with the fucking steel-toed boots.
Nice.
Did I tell that story? Have you ever heard that story?
Yeah, you told that about 6 years ago.
Yeah, that's a funny one, man.
Sure.
Fucking douchebag.
But you see, that's the difference. I've never gotten involved with being arrested for anything.
Right. Yeah, I've had my share.
So
I've definitely had my share, but thank God I don't anymore.
Right.
I really don't miss that hassle.
Yeah, well, at 45 years old, I'd kind of start questioning my friendship with you.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, why are you getting arrested every other weekend?
Yeah, really. He's saying it's not dialing. Let me restart this fucking Skype.
But regardless of that,
yeah,
again, this was always a concern.
Yeah,
and it's not as if the opportunity hasn't been there, because it has been there.
Right.
But it's just like, do I want to risk that?
Right.
Because the way that the media portrayed it,
right,
it's like every other person had AIDS. They were AIDS carrying. Everybody was infected.
That's crazy, man. I do remember that too.
But everybody was, especially in Southern California, everybody was doing drugs,
right?
And it's just like, oh boy, stay away from that, and that was the truth.
Right.
It's like, I don't need that.
Right.